This week on KUJH, winter is making a comeback tonight. How much snow is KU looking to get?
The Lawrence Public School District will wait another year before closing any schools.
And junior guard Holly Kurzgeter scores 1,000 points. We asked what this program means to her.
Live from the studio in Stauffer Flint at the University of Kansas, you're watching KUJH News.
Welcome to KUJH. I'm Olivia Akery.
And I'm Mackenzie Laporte. Well, it looks like we'll have some snow coming in tomorrow, so let's send it over to our weather reporter, Halen Wilhite. Hi, Halen, how much could we expect?
Well, I could tell you we could be expecting quite a bit. Definitely, not a lot of people would think, oh, there is a winter storm coming. We saw pretty much temperatures getting into those upper 60s today and still holding on to those 60s, still dealing with some overcast skies, but clouds slowly but surely starting to break out of the region all ahead of this cold front that's currently hidden behind all these clouds. But when that cold front's going to start pushing through, temperatures are really going to take a nosedive. But, you know, as much more, still holding on to those 60s, upper 60s across the region, but definitely can see that cold front gradient slowly but surely inching its way close to our area. And also too, winds are going to be picking up quite a bit once that cold front is going to be pushing through. Could be expecting 15 to 20 mile per hour sustained winds and gusts up to 35 miles per hour with this system. But so far, all of our viewing area is under that winter storm warning in effect from 12 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Thursday. So definitely going to be seeing a lot happening within the next 24 hours or so. But what we do know is that we have this winter storm that is going to be affecting much of our region in the for tonight. But then good news, once we get in the weekend, maybe talking a little bit more of some milder conditions, but even then, looking ahead towards next week, maybe another cold spell making return for next week as well. But I'll have more details about that winter storm coming up later.
After its most recent meeting on Monday, the Lawrence Public Schools Board of Education made some big announcements for its schools. The board held a meeting on Monday where it elected to delay closing down 6 schools for this year and next year. With declining enrollment rates and decreased funding since the COVID-19 pandemic, Board Vice President Shannon Kimball looked to find ways to bridge the $7 million difference in its budget.
For me, that has meant that our district has had an obligation and our board has had an obligation to look at the big picture and to look at as many options as possible on the table for how we do this, because these are really, really large, big picture systemic issues that we need to be solving.
The board plans to bring in more funding and keep these schools open. Public comment on potential school closures will be allowed next Monday in the next school board meeting.
And now let's check in with Sam Lance, who has an update for us on new Lawrence Road developments.
Thank you, Olivia and Mackenzie. I'm currently here live in the Old West Lawrence neighborhood, standing in front of one of the new barriers that have been placed at the intersection of 8th and Indiana Street. The barriers have been placed here by the city of Lawrence to try and slow and divert traffic. Let's take a look.
In the fall of 2021, you may have noticed road changes in a certain Lawrence residential area. Several barriers were placed on intersections from Ohio Street to Arkansas Street and between 6th Street and 9th Street. This map shows the Old West Lawrence neighborhood. The red dots are locations where barriers have been placed. Most barriers have signs that say no left turn, posted north or south on state streets. Therefore, cars are supposed to turn right. In most instances, cars can go straight, moving east or west on numbered streets. However, left turns are still not allowed. The only barrier that is different is the 2 on Mississippi Street, where you are forced to turn right no matter what direction you are coming from. A frequent driver in the area, Peter Carson, has to avoid the barriers almost every day as a neighborhood mailman. Carson said the new barriers certainly don't make his life any easier.
I usually have to kind of go the way I'm not supposed to go, because otherwise it would probably add about 30 to 45 minutes to my day.
One resident who has lived in the neighborhood since 1989 shared his thoughts on the new barriers.
You have to leave the neighborhood to get to other parts of the neighborhood. And some of the routes direct you to 6th Street, where you, during most of the day, you can't make a left turn safely. You can at 6 in the morning or 9 in the evening, but I don't think those things have helped.
Lawrence implemented the changes due to Resolution 7272, which established the
In the
Neighborhood
fall of 2020,
Traffic Management Program. The program is what funded the new barriers.
You can visit the Neighborhood Traffic Management website.
Thanks, Sam. I will definitely be watching out for those barriers. Earlier this month, employees at 2 Starbucks locations in the Kansas City area announced their efforts to unionize. The workers at these stores joined Starbucks employees at more than 60 locations across the country. Employees are searching for a more livable wage as well as better safety measures. Here are One Plaza Starbucks workers' thoughts about unionization.
We're not asking for the moon. We want to feel safe at work. We want to feel financially secure, and we want to contribute to the partnership. We want to be treated as partners, not just partners.
They are just beginning the unionization process. Their next step is to participate in hearings that decide if joining a union should be a store-by-store or citywide vote. Starbucks is strongly opposed to unionization efforts at its stores. They are suggesting partners vote against the union. They said, quote, "We do not believe unions are necessary at Starbucks because we know that the real issues are solved through direct partnership with one another," end quote.
However, employees at the Country Club Plaza just want the company to follow its own corporate mission. Coming up on KUJH, we're going to take a look at the importance of Black History Month at KU. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to KUJH. Now we're going to check in with Gabe Johnson and Sarah McDonough for some on-campus observance of Black History Month.
The Black Student Union is celebrating Black History Month. Gabriel Johnson and I take a look at some of their events to commemorate Black history.
The Black Student Union works towards educating the Lawrence community about the importance of Black history. Throughout Black History Month, the BSU is hosting weekly events to shine a light on African American heritage.
It really is just the culmination, just a celebration, you know, where we get a chance to really recognize Black culture.
Each week, the BSU has a different themed event to celebrate Black history. The first week of February, BSU celebrated Black actors by watching the movie Friday. The second week, BSU partnered with OMA for an I Am night to celebrate self-love.
For me, Black history is just knowing who I am, like what I'm called to be, like what my parents were not able to do.
This week, the BSU is heading to Kansas City, Kansas to tour the District Attorney's Office and network. Next week, the BSU will be celebrating Black love at their General Assembly. With only 2 weeks left in February, the BSU is focusing on educating the KU community on the importance of Black history.
Make sure that Black Jayhawks on campus are valued, celebrated, and the culture stays alive.
Reporting with Sarah McDonough for KUJHNews, I'm Gabriel Johnson.
Check out our Instagram and website for an extended look into the history of Black History Month and the Black Student Union at KU.
The Black Student Union works towards educating.
Thank you, Gabe and Sarah. Now we're going to send it back to Halen with a live look at the rest of today's weather. Halen?
The sun may be out and temperatures still holding on to those upper 50s at the moment, but don't let that deceive you. We still got a major winter storm heading our way later this evening and eventually going into tomorrow morning. So be sure to stay tuned as I'll give more details about that winter storm incoming and how much snow amounts we could be expecting here at KU.
Thanks, Halen. I know I'll be enjoying the warm weather while it lasts. At only 19 and 20, 2 shoe business owners open up their own store. KUJH reporter Johan Marin tells us how these business owners went from starting an online business to opening their own store.
Sold Out LK, a shoe business store that was once a dream, becomes a reality. A reality for 2 young owners, Anthony Waka and Riley Henley, at only ages 19 and 20.
After we graduated high school, started selling like shoes and backpacks. She was already selling belts and stuff throughout high school. And then we made an Instagram account called 785 Kicks.
Sold Out LK, known for its wide selection of sneakers and vintage clothing, started as an online business, and it only took 2 years for the business to gain a physical store.
We kind of took our separate ways, you know what I mean? He started running his account, and then I made another account, and then, I don't know, like over a year, we were just both growing on our own, you know what I mean, making our own profits and stuff, and then we kind of, we were still hanging out as friends and stuff, but then we kind of came back together and then opened up a store together, so.
But with success also comes challenges, especially at a young age.
A lot of people are pretty surprised.
Challenges like dealing with constant shoe shipments and organizing a business are things Henley wouldn't have imagined 2 years ago.
Not at this young. No, I didn't. I said I was going to, but I don't know if I really believed that it would happen at 19 years old.
Despite the challenges, Henley's goals for Sold Out LK are to sell more sneakers with higher-end brands. Reporting for KUJH, I'm Johan Marin.
Thank you, Johan. Owning a shoe store at 19 and 20 years old is quite the accomplishment. Coming up after the break, Kaylin is going to tell us how much snowfall we should be expecting for tomorrow.
You may not hear it at first, but it's there. Our chant, rising. On this summit, callings converge, voices unify into a chorus that sounds out for good, for greatness. Can you hear it?
Temperatures are slowly but surely starting to get a little bit more on the cooler side out there. We've got this cold front still currently situated just right on top of us at the moment. Currently temperatures in Lawrence, we're sitting at 56 degrees, but just to our south, Wichita still holding on to 69 degrees. Columbia, Missouri still at 65 as well, but Omaha and Des Moines and North Platte are all in those 30s at the moment. And temperatures are only going to be going from downwards here on out, all ahead of this cold front that is pushing through the area at the moment. We're starting to see these clouds starting to clear up a little bit, but don't let that deceive you, as we're still going to be keeping a very close eye on, or at least we're going to be tracking this major winter storm currently situated well off into parts of the Texas-Oklahoma panhandle, and actually could be seeing quite a bit of severe weather for parts of Oklahoma and Texas. But for us, we've got a little bit more of the winter storm to deal with. But so far, as mentioned, clouds are still clearing out throughout the region, but temperatures are getting cooler out there. So far, there is no rain and no wintry precipitation just yet. Probably won't expect that winter precipitation not to really move in until later this evening. But so far, right now, we're still going to be holding on to those mild conditions. The clouds slowly but surely starting to clear out a little bit more, but those winds also kicking up from the northwest at about 15 miles per hour and gusts up to 25 miles per hour. And as mentioned before, weather-wise, or at least that winter storm is still not going to be fully making its entrance not until late tonight into early morning hours of Thursday. So even all the way up till 11 o'clock, still going to be staying relatively dry, but once we get past midnight or so, then we'll finally start talking maybe a little bit of that first to begin with rain, then once temperatures get below freezing, eventually transitioning into sleet, and then once we get around 6 a.m. or so, that's when we'll finally see the full transition into heavy snow, with temperatures going to be bottoming out at a low of 22 degrees, still going to be seeing about an 80 to 90% chance of that precipitation, and winds blowing from the north at 15 to 20 miles per hour and gusts up to 30 miles per hour. So blowing snow is going to be a significant factor for tomorrow, and it's definitely going to cause a lot of problems, especially on those early morning commutes. But here's a little bit look of that futurecast look, seeing the system really starting to kick into gear in those early morning hours of Thursday, then fully transitioning into snow and staying snow throughout the early morning hours of Thursday, and even going into Thursday afternoon as well. Here's another look, seeing the beginnings of a little bit of rain, then going to be switching over to sleet, and then heavy bands of snow. Once heavy bands of snow going to be moving through our area. But so far for tomorrow, only going to be seeing a high of 18 degrees. And as I mentioned before, blowing snow is going to be a significant factor. You're going to see that snow finally moving around those afternoon hours of Thursday, but still going to be expecting those winds blowing at about 15 to 20 miles per hour and gusts up to 35 miles per hour. Wind chills are also going to be feeling like in those single digits as well. But as goes for snow amounts, there's still a little bit of uncertainty as it all depends on where this system is going to track. If it's going to go a little bit more of a southern track or a little bit more of a northern track, we could see a little bit more of the 6 to 8 inches creeping up into our region. But so far, I'm going to say between 4 to 6 inches for the Lawrence region, but still definitely seeing quite a bit of a lot more snow than the last couple winter systems we've been dealing with. So winter weather impacts, we are certainly going to be seeing high impacts to road conditions, slick sidewalks, closing delays, maybe even some power outages as we're going to be still dealing with those strong winds, blowing snow, and of course a little bit of ice to begin with that system. But so far impact days throughout Thursday, but then Friday will be clearing out and eventually starting to get a little bit more on that warming trend. Sunday going to be finally back up into those mid 50s, and then first start of next week 60 degrees again. But then of course going to be tracking maybe another cool spell going to be starting to move in around Tuesday and Wednesday, maybe seeing a little bit of chance of some wintry mix making a comeback as well. But definitely a little bit more of a nicer weekend ahead for us after we have a little bit of this chaotic weather for tonight. That is all I have for this weather forecast. Stay tuned for your full look at sports.
Why doesn't my skin look like theirs? Why is my nose so big? I'm never gonna look like those girls.
Welcome back to KUJH. Aside from possible snow coming soon, we will go to Caroline Sora with big achievements in women's basketball. Caroline, take it away.
Thanks, Olivia. It's been nice having things a bit warmer this week, but I'm not ready for snow to potentially roll in tomorrow. Anyways, welcome back to KUJH Sports. This week was an important one for Kansas women's basketball, with junior guard Holly Kerskeeter reaching 1,000 career points and KU legend Tamika Dixon earning the Marion Washington Award. In honor of Black History Month, Kansas Athletics is bringing back the Marion E. Washington Trailblazers Series, which recognizes the remarkable careers and accomplishments of African-American Jayhawks. Former Kansas women's basketball player Tamika Dixon was one of the 4 recognized Trailblazers this year.
A lot of who I was because of this place. And because of Coach Washington and what she invested in me. So I've always tried to do my best, wherever I went, to spread that word and to show love to Lawrence, Kansas, and the university.
In her time at KU, Dixon led the team to back-to-back conference championships in '96 and '97. She was named Conference Player of the Year and an All-American in both of those seasons. Dixon is also one of just 4 women to have her number retired in historic Allen Fieldhouse. She was drafted in the first WNBA draft in 1997, won 2 WNBA championships with the Los Angeles Sparks, and earned 3 All-Star Game selections in her pro career. Congratulations to Tamika Dixon on an incredible career and honor. Rock Chalk. Last Saturday, one Kansas women's basketball player made history. Our very own Andrew Lind tells us who that is and what she accomplished.
For junior guard Holly Kerskeeter, her journey to 1,000 career points finished in a storybook ending. Not only did she surpass the benchmark, but she recorded a double-double in BK State.
Yeah, it doesn't really get much better than that. I feel good. I mean, there's a lot to celebrate, so this is a good way to do it. I don't think I could have asked for a better way.
And to cap it all off, her family and friends were in attendance for what was a very special moment.
I'm just really thankful that I have that opportunity and that support system, and it's not just me. They don't come to watch just me, they come to watch us.
It's only fitting that Kerskeeter hit 1,000 points on a three-pointer just like this one.
In the prior 4 games leading up to this career accomplishment, Holly Kerskeeter has shot 47%.
from deep, and Kansas has gone 4-0 in those contests. Now, this season alone, the Sand Springs, Oklahoma native has shot 40% from beyond the arc, and Kansas has won significantly more games than last year. Coincidence? I think not.
She's just continued to grow and develop, you know, as a complete player, and you know, she's I think got a chance to really do some special things.
This has been Andrew Lynn reporting for KUJH TV.
Thanks, Andrew. What a great story about a player who has had such an impact on this Kansas program. Looking over to high school basketball, Lawrence High and Free State High play in their rivalry game this Friday. Our very own Reese Dunker walks us through what the history of this rivalry means to these two schools. Reese?
Nearly a year ago to the day was the last time Lawrence High and Free State met in basketball. In that matchup, Lawrence High won 56-40, extending their crosstown win streak to 3 games. Will that win streak extend to 4, or will Free State get revenge? We'll find out this Friday. As if this game already didn't mean enough, the seniors for Lawrence High have never lost this matchup, and the seniors for Free State have never won this matchup. Rivalries are one of the most important aspects in sport, and that's exactly what exists here in Lawrence.
That ice for blood in your veins, you know, it's exciting. Good atmosphere, very loud. The student bodies on both sides are incredible.
Free State will come into the contest having dropped only 1 game all season, that being a little over a week ago to Olathe West. Lawrence High, on the other hand, has not dropped a game since January 20th, having rattled off 8 straight wins.
So when you think about it, you're the first. And it doesn't matter where you fell into the game, what side you play on, you're part of this historic game.
The rosters this year are much different for both teams. Free State is led by a pair of seniors, Mose Downing and Jordan Brown. Lawrence High relies on its young talent like sophomore Zaxton King. Even with their different approaches, both teams have no problem finding success. Both teams are in excellent position as we inch closer to the playoffs. With both of these teams expected to make deep runs into the playoffs, this game means a lot for bragging rights. And if I had to guess, these rivals are going to fight hard this Friday. This is Reese Dunker, reporting for KUJH News.
Thanks, Reese. It looks like March Madness isn't the only postseason basketball we have to look forward to this year. That wraps up our KUJH sports update for today, so let's send it back to Mackenzie and Olivia.
Thanks, Caroline. Coming up, a local pet shop is home to more than just cats and dogs. Stay tuned.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
Welcome back to KUJH.
When it comes to picking out a new pet, you tend to hear the phrase adopt, don't shop. But at Pet World, you can shop both locally and ethically. Pet World Communications Director Andrea Bellacci says Pet World is rare, but it is licensed to operate as both a pet store and a shelter. Pet World only takes animals referred to as exotics, which they define as animals other than cats and dogs. They work mainly with the Lawrence Humane Society by taking in exotic animals from them and other shelters, as well as owner surrenders.
It is very rare we're at capacity with exotic pets, and so that we just kind of decided to do that split where we do all the exotics in town and they do the dogs and the cats.
The shelter houses fish, rodents, birds, and reptiles. The larger animals are not up for adoption and are instead used for education purposes, such as giant Burmese pythons named Fluffy and Goliath. Bellacci hopes more pet stores become licensed shelters to help animals in need.
Thank you for watching KUJH. Tune in next week at 4 p.m.
For more coverage, be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter and visit our website at tv.ku.edu.
Have a good evening.